The main trait Jessica Alba and I share is that we both age well. And more recently, we're also both entrepreneurs. But the story of The Honest Company is very much a roller coaster. And right now we seem to be on that not so fun part of the ride. But that might change while this video is in the editing room. Now, you may have noticed a pattern in the stories and the founders that we cover in this series. With only a couple of exceptions, and one of them being a sociopath, you don't see a lot of female founders with success stories. Just like you don't see a lot of female viewers in our stats. Funny enough, the majority of our production crew is actually made up of women. They just rarely get to stand on this side of the camera. Anyway, I met Elle a couple of months ago. Elle is an early stage investor with Miami Angels and is passionate about underrepresented founders in tech. So she flew all the way to our studio in Costa Rica to be a guest in our channel and to tell us a couple of startup stories that I'm not really qualified to cover as well as she does.
Thanks for the intro, Kaya, and thanks for the team for having me. So many of us know Jessica Alba today. She's a beautiful actress, a business mogul, and she just does not seem to age. And today, in 2021, she's commonly known as the founder of The Honest Company. This consumer products brand offers safe, eco-friendly products like diapers, a natural line of bath, skincare, home cleaning, etc. Essentially, it's a go-to place for household products focused on safety and ethical consumerism. Back in the 2000s, Jessica Alba was just an up-and-coming actress. On screen, she looked different from traditional Hollywood starlets, and I admired her for that. For full transparency and journalistic integrity, I am a fan. Unfortunately, she didn't have the best critical reception. I have a feeling the girl knew there was more out there for her than just being a Hollywood star. The early 2010s weren't like today. Now, a celebrity announces a company or raises a fund and people are banging down their doors to give them money. Back then, you had one lane and you did not stray. People didn't really take celebrity-sponsored companies that seriously. So how did this Hollywood actress break through and come to IPO a company? Welcome to Company Forensics, The Honest Company story. The story goes that in 2008, after Alba's baby shower for her first daughter, Honor, she wanted to wash some of her gifts with a mainstream detergent brand. She immediately broke out into ugly red welts. Naturally, this worried her about what such exposure would happen to a baby with even more sensitive skin. This experience shook Alba. She spent the next few years researching the consumer goods market and uncovered that many detergents and everyday items included petrochemicals, formaldehydes, and flame retardants. She even ended up in Washington, D.C. to lobby for updated legislation to reform the 1976 Toxic Substances Control Act. After feeling impassioned to make a change in the industry, Alba decided to start her own business. She teamed up with Brian Lee, who had former startup experience with LegalZoom.com and ShoeDazzle.com, one of Kim Kardashian's first companies. And reports say that the two invested $6 million of their personal wealth to get it started before major VC players believed in them. And they were officially incorporated in 2011. Later on, Sean Kane and Christopher Gavin joined the team. They had experience with PriceGrabber.com and Healthy Child, Healthy World, respectively. This proved to be a wise decision. The co-founders' experiences supplement one another's expertise, and Jessica brought in her mainstream audience and appeal. Looking for investment. The Honest Company started with 4 co-founders, but it still needed money. And raising money for a CPG brand is not easy. We haven't historically invested in CPG brands because the scalability and VC-level returns are pretty hard to come by for the amount of risk. So to tailor their pitch to VCs, they doubled down on the idea of creating safe, chemical-free, non-toxic consumer goods from scratch. But without the infrastructure of, say, a Procter & Gamble, they required a lot more capital. To garner interest from VCs, they specifically targeted the diaper business. Co-founder Brian Lee stated, "That's the only thing we pitched. It was a very strategic, as we knew that was the way to get into your home." And their strategy saw success. Name brand VCs, General Catalyst, Lightspeed Venture Partners, and Institutional Venture Partners got involved as part of a $27 million Series A in 2012. The diapers were successful, and the company raised about $128 million through 2014. After proving themselves in one category, they expanded their product offering to everything from soap, kitchen cleaner, detergent, nipple balm, multivitamins, and even nursery furniture. It's not every day that CPG brands can get so much VC conviction and backing. But the team showed they knew how to market a product and replicate that strategy to other products within the non-toxic product universe. After all, Jessica Alba, as a committed founder, was better publicity than any marketing team could purchase. Rise to success. The Honest Company capitalized on consumer trends. It was a first mover in the now popularized concepts of conscious consumers and influencer marketing. Back in 2014, this was not yet table stakes. Jessica Alba went on late-night talk shows like Jimmy Kimmel to promote The Honest Company and alert consumers of the dangers of existing products. The Honest Company didn't just arbitrage an opening in the market for safe and natural home goods. Instead, they helped expose the gap to which they were immediately able to slide in and provide solutions. There was a lot of competition from brands like Johnson & Johnson and Jergens, but still, The Honest Company was able to carve out its own niche. The brand's foundation was that home and kids products should be safe, affordable, and eco-friendly. The company explicitly laid it out in its guiding manifesto called The Honest Standard. In fact, Jessica Alba published the New York Times best-selling book, The Honest Life, and she became synonymous with the brand. Now, that's the type of marketing that even money can't buy. The company discovered that parents were willing to pay higher prices for the peace of mind of having safe brands. Still, the products weren't outrageously out of most consumers' price range, but if you promise to be honest, people will take you up on that. Scandal and lawsuits. The Honest Company saw consistent growth. They even began to explore an acquisition by Unilever. However, eventually Unilever went for seventh generation for a rumored $600 million buyout instead. But the Honest Company didn't slow down. And after their Series D, they had a $1.7 billion valuation, gaining its unicorn status. And while the company seemed invincible, it ultimately raised a down round in 2017 and lost its unicorn status. What happened? Unfortunately, what brought them immense success also made them vulnerable to a series of scandals. As a result, the company placed a huge target on themselves, being known as honest. They failed to live up to the promise of being honest. Tests of the startup's liquid detergent found SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, a cleaning agent common in many mainstream brands. In fact, SLS was a chemical that the Honest Company previously criticized. This goes to show, don't start a witch hunt unless you're completely innocent. While the company disputed the claim, it still couldn't catch a break with Honest sunscreen. It was being accused of being ineffective in preventing unhealthy exposure to harmful UV rays, which is kind of the purpose of sunscreen. Most damaging was that the lawsuits targeted the claims that Honest misrepresented its products as natural. In particular, they called out some of their most profitable items, like Honest hand soap, Honest dish soap, Honest diapers, and Honest multi-surface cleaner. The company also recalled baby wipes out of an abundance of caution after it detected mold in some packages. The company also recalled its baby powder in January over concerns it could cause skin or eye infections. That goes to show labeling yourself as honest creates enormous hurdles and consumer expectations. The rebranding process. After all the scandals and the massive down round in investment, many were ready to write off the Honest Company as a failure and another story of a failed celebrity-backed company. To regain customer trust, the company had some major rebranding to do. In March 2017, after a big shakeup to the leadership, the Honest Company announced that Clorox veteran Nick Vlahos would replace Brian Lee as CEO. This move showed the company choosing to go in a direction with a seasoned corporate executive taking the helms as the company grew. Also, the company stated that it made internal changes by bringing in-house R&D and quality assurance. This way, the Honest Company would have complete oversight on the manufacture of their products. Vlahos, the new CEO, was honest about the changes. To grow, they had to be consistent, which meant ditching businesses they couldn't win. So instead, the Honest Company focused on their most significant revenue drivers, including diapers, baby products, and beauty product lines. While all of this was good and great, Jessica Alba's squeaky clean image was a major differentiating factor. Throughout the scandals, the company mostly managed to divert blame from Alba herself. And honest survival. It was Jessica Alba who ultimately saved the brand. Alba hasn't graced our silver screens in a significant role for a very long time, but for years, she built the brand as a beautiful, honest, and authentic girl next door actress. All the women who grew up watching Jessica Alba started to have families of their own and regarded her as a trustworthy source. So associations with the brand remained positive as it waited for the storms of the scandals to subside. Heck, the Honest Company's origin hasn't been marketed as Jessica wanting to make a quick buck or having a lifestyle that's impossible to achieve. Instead, it came from Jessica's struggle to find safe products and even going to Congress to try and make a change. People perceived Alba's intention as honest. This wasn't a faceless corporation. Instead, consumers ultimately asked themselves, can they trust Jessica? And that answer proved to be yes. IPO and today. After rebounding from what might have been a slew of nail-in-the-coffin scandals, the Honest Company filed for an IPO in April 2021. And during the lead-up to the IPO, Jessica Alba launched a YouTube channel and a TikTok account. She also made the media circuits again, putting her once again at the forefront as the face. The company saw immense growth. Their S1 stated that they grew revenue from $235 million in 2019 to over $300 million in 2020 during the pandemic. The company went public in May 2021. While it's priced at $16 a share, the stock price has jumped around in the last couple of months. It dipped to almost half its original value the week before we shot this video. So the markets have not been kind to the Honest Company, but they have proven to be in a position to overcome difficult times. It's easy to dismiss the Honest Company as a fluke success and Jessica Alba as just a pretty face to the company. But the Honest Company did succeed when so many celebrity-backed companies failed. One big reason is that Alba was a compelling and intelligent founder that lived and breathed the company's core values. She understood market trends and then worked tirelessly to build the Honest Company. So yes, Jessica Alba has a very pretty face, but she also created a legacy that extends way beyond the silver screen. I could go on and on about how much I admire Jessica Alba and appreciate the story of the Honest Company, but can the Honest Company bounce back again? What do you guys think? Let us know and comment below.